Tonight on the Fanatic Forum, we peel back the layers that is Glass Onion, a new Knives Out mystery that is currently streaming on Netflix. Plus, of course, we've got some geek news, new loot, and of course, new comics. But first, it is a new day. Yes, it is. Now, play the Fanatics music. Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your Fanatic and host, George Buehler, and a very happy new year to everyone out there. Of course, it's a new year. Hopefully things are going well for everybody so far. We're only a few days into it, so hopefully no major crises just yet. And if he's watching, happy birthday to my pop. He celebrated yesterday, but I know he watches the show sometimes, so happy birthday to you. So hopefully everybody's having a good one out there so far, or having a good week and everything like that. So we've got some fun stuff to talk about today. Of course, our main focus will be Glass Onion, which is currently streaming on Netflix. This is a Knives Out mystery. I've already seen this twice since it got released last week, and it is killer. I absolutely love it. So we'll talk about that a little bit, what I liked about it, maybe some little did you know trivia and all that sort of thing on there. Of course, we got a lot of new comics to talk about. I've got some new swag to show off here and kind of give you guys a little tip for any G.I. Joe fans out there. Plus, we got some geek news to talk about. So let's talk about the big thing, top of the show here for any wrestling fans. You know what I'm talking about. Vinnie Mac is coming back. We thought he was gone, but apparently Vince McMahon has muscled his way back into the WWE. He is apparently trying to get back on the board to be the head of the board of directors, to be the chairman. So in order, apparently, the company is getting very serious about a potential buyout. There's been a lot of rumors about that over the last, 5 years or so. The NBC Universal merger, that's, Nick Khan coming on. There's been a lot more, fuel to the rumor fire, so to speak. But yeah, this one's a big one here. Vince coming back here, despite all the allegations and investigations that have been going on. Yeah, he's back. Now, apparently there was a big employee, everybody meeting that took place earlier today. The reports from that are basically that it's going to be kind of business as usual as it's been recently, where Triple H has been in charge creatively. Most of the new management that's been put in place is staying there. Vince's purposes are really only going to be the boardroom, behind the scenes, helping a transition to get to a potential buyer, so to speak. Not so much in a creative aspect or anything like that. So we'll see. We'll see how that all turns out. But yeah, it was a big shock to kind of, there was kind of that little, nugget of, little rumor ripple there. We heard a couple of weeks ago that possibly Vince was trying to weasel his way back in. But yeah, there he is. So he is back. So hopefully this doesn't affect current creative that's going on television, because they're kind of doing kind of a little bit of repair work, bringing a lot of people back that got fired that maybe shouldn't have been. So things have been getting better on TV, and so I kind of hope this trend kind of stays that way. And Triple H is still in charge, so we'll see. Anywho, so in movie news, a first look trailer has come out for Evil Dead Rise, which comes out in May. This is an awesome looking sequel, if that trailer says anything, but it's very unique in the fact that this is an Evil Dead movie that will not take place in the woods. No cabin in the woods sort of thing like that. And also there is no Ash Williams, no Bruce Campbell. I'm not sure the young lady who played Ash in the remake, which actually was halfway decent. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so this is kind of a new sequel. It is being produced by Rob Tapert, who of course has been with the Evil Dead franchise from the beginning, just like Sam Raimi has. But yeah, so it's kind of an interesting take on things here. The Necronomicon somehow gets in the hands of a young man who brings it home to this apartment complex, and apparently someone gets possessed, and now we've got apparently some family members kind of protecting themselves from, I guess, maybe the mother or a sister or someone along those lines who's been possessed. But yeah, very creepy stuff, really good looking to it. So yeah, I'm willing to check that one out in April there. But a lot of big horror movies coming out this year, so horror fans might get some love this year. So there you go. So want to show off some new loot for you guys. First off, any Funko Pop fans, this is a little FYI for you. So picked this guy up not too long ago. Another Walgreens exclusive, but for X-Men fans here, one of my favorites from the 80s, Long Shot. He's got his little blinky eye there. He's got some knives in his hands, I think so. Very cute little dude here. But yeah, so this is a Walgreens exclusive. There's a bunch of X-Men. I saw a Nightcrawler that's kind of looked like he's in a swashbuckling gear. Trying to think who else. There are several X-Men that are kind of the new wave or whatnot. That's the Walgreens exclusives that aren't listed on the back of the box here. So anywho, but yeah, so get you any Long Shot fans out there, get your buddy today there. And also a GameStop exclusive for G.I. Joe fans out here. There's a really cool mystery box that is out right now that features all the great Hector Guerrillo arts from back in the day there. So love that stuff there. Anywho, so inside the box, there's some kind of usual tchotchkes in there. You get, I think, let's see. I've still got some of these things in here. Oh, yeah. So you get this little mini poster here, which is kind of like a little Funko art. You get a lanyard that has Snake Eyes' foul card on here. It looks like he's a little Funko Eyes there. But on the back, oh, look, he's a little rubber Snake Eyes there. So you get a G.I. Joe Funko lanyard. You also get a G.I. Joe sticker. There's a G.I. Joe dog tag, but that's in my car hanging from my windshield. And also you get your G.I. Joe official membership card. But the big thing in there is you get exclusive pop. Now, I'm not sure if it's the same swag, the same pop through all the boxes or not, but this is who I got here. You 90s variant fans are going to love this one here. Prophet Director Destro, or as we G.I. Joe fans really know him as, Pimp Destro. That's right, in the 90s, for whatever reason, this variant Destro figure came out where instead of his usual black and red garb, he's dressed in this like purple sort of, jumpsuit thing with this big cape that has like leopard print on the cuffs, on the shoulders of it. I don't know why. The silver mask turned gold. He's got sunglasses and whatever else. So it was a really weird distro that came out just, again, for no reason. Just here's a repaint, and then somebody just had a wild time with it here. But someone, of course, for the G.I. Joe classified figures, they've re-released Prophet Director Destro. They've done a little bit of variations on here. I love the burning stack of cash in his hand. And, of course, he does have his gold briefcase there, which is carrying weapons or more money or God knows whatever else. So there you go. So for GameStop exclusive there, not too bad. I enjoyed that. So, yeah, G.I. Joe fans, if you want, go to GameStop there. You get your Funko swag and your Pimp Destro figure. So there you go. Lots of fun stuff there. All right. So got some new books to show off here. And this is some good stuff here this week. Kind of a light week. Marvel, DC didn't have a lot going on. But there's some really strong independents this week. So I'm going to share those with you guys here. Let's see. First off, let's get to our Marvel stuff here. All right, so again, not a big surprise here. I've been talking about how much I've enjoyed this series, but Jason Aaron's current Avengers Assemble miniseries been going on here, which, of course, singling the end of his run. But this issue was awesome. It's just been all-out war from the beginning, but there's some really, really cool conflicts towards the end of this issue. But then, we're getting, I would say, more than halfway through the Avengers Assemble storyline, and we get a bit of a surprise at the end here. So our big bed, basically master or ultimate doom or whatever else, drops a bit of a bombshell. Of course, the Avengers are not entirely aware of this, but the reader is. So yeah, there's more trouble to come. Just when we think we've maybe beaten most everybody, yeah, there's more to come. So next up here, Captain America Sentinel of Liberty #8. I've just absolutely loved this series here. Kelly and Lansing trying to get the proper names here for everybody. Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly are the writers on this, and then Carmen Canero is the main artist on here. Really awesome stuff, just because it's been really kind of a throwback to the more espionage Captain America, a lot of conspiracy stuff going on, of course, with the Outer Circle being the villains in this. And basically, as we ended the previous issue, we had our kind of our master plan that Captain America and the rest of his group was, we're ready to take these guys out. We've got our plan in place. We've got the perfect thing going here. And then what happens is that Captain America wakes up days later after what should have been their first strike, and he's somehow in Kansas when he should have been in New York, and now New York has been sealed off by some weird force field. So next issue comes in here is like, all right, we got to put our pieces together here. How did this all happen? So we employ Emma Frost, and we have ourselves a new MODOK variation that may be to blame for this. So first appearance in here could potentially be a key issue here, so keep tabs on that one. Next one up here, Fantastic Four #3, Ryan North and Carmen Coelho, I think it's, absolutely have been really enjoying this run here. A nice kind of throwback to some of the fun mystery and discovery of the Fantastic Four. Of course, in this case here, there's the whole mystery of what happened to the Fantastic Four. What happened to the Baxter Building? Why is it a big smoking crater in New York? Why is the group split up? And there's so many questions here. So we found out what happened to Ben and Alicia. Issue 2, we find out what happened to Reed and Sue. Well, finally, here's issue 3. What happened to Johnny? What's he been up to since all this? And then, of course, issue 4 is going to get the band all back together again because something's wrong with Ben. And it may all be related to the accident that took away the Baxter Building and has made a big smoking crater in New York. So, again, really enjoy the nice throwback to the whole kind of fun and mystery of old school Fantastic Four. Plus, these Alex Ross covers are amazing. So just, you can't go wrong with that stuff. Last Marvel pick here, Ryan North's Secret Invasion sequel here. Absolutely been enjoying this one as well. And just a great, again, espionage series on here. Issue 3, Tony's got a big secret. Of course, there's, another Skrull sort of invasion here. There's kind of a new way that basically they're kind of avoiding detection, again, like in the original Secret Invasion, but this one's doesn't have so much the religious fanaticism sort of thing. We don't even know really why the invasion necessarily is happening, but there's something weird going on here. Maria Hill's kind of our main protagonist on here, but she's teamed up with Tony Stark and a few other heroes. But again, Tony's got a big secret here, and Maria doesn't necessarily like what's going on here. But yeah, so again, just some very interesting stuff here. Very reminiscent of The Thing, because kind of the tell-all for Skrull detection has come down to a blood test. So, basically that's kind of like every time Maria meets with somebody or has a conversation with somebody in person, you got to have that blood test first, make sure you're who you are. So, and a few people have, of course, tried to avoid detection, but she always seems to be getting around it so far here. But yeah, so very interesting sort of, espionage mystery sort of mini series that is a sequel, of course, to the classic Secret Invasion that may or not be sort of what's kind of kicking off the TV series coming up later this year, which hopefully we'll be getting an answer to when it's coming out. So we don't have a date just yet. All right. Next up on the docket here, only one selection from DC this week. There's a bit of an error from the distributors, whatever else. So I didn't get the new Batman issue, which actually starts a new storyline. So hopefully be reading that in the very near future. Probably, I would assume next week, because we haven't got it already in the shop just yet. But apparently we weren't alone. There was some sort of error going on. So I don't know. maybe it'll be coming out a week late. But yeah, so I'm very excited about reading this new Batman storyline, but so we'll get to that next week, hopefully. But the other DC book I did pick up this week is the new issue of Dark Knights of Steel. This is 9 of 12. Of course, we're getting pretty close to the end here. Tom Taylor, once again, playing in the DC sandbox. This time, we're in the Middle Ages, classic kind of, fantasy sort of thing here. But it's all of our favorite DC heroes and villains in this sort of setting. But we have essentially 3 kingdoms at war going on here. The Amazons, the Kingdom of El, which of course is Superman's family, and the family led formerly by Black Lightning. But since his demise, now his daughters have taken over. But of course, this is all being manipulated by an outer hand. And we kind of find out who that is, and maybe gets a little more help coming up here. So, but yeah, there's some really cool reveals in this particular issue, but I've absolutely enjoyed this miniseries. DC's been kind of killing it with some of these, little self-contained miniseries here of, Dark Knights of Steel, DC versus Vampires, and of course the Deceased series. I've enjoyed those. So yeah, lots of fun stuff on there. All right, moving on to our independents here. Got some really strong ones here. Of course, been talking about this series, almost of the season, this series here from the beginning here. But The Approach by Jeremy Hahn and Jason Hurley, with some inking by Jesus Hervas. This has been an amazing, amazing book here. This is essentially the Thing in kind of a small Colorado airport that's been snowed in. And so, yeah, basically we've got a flight that has to make an emergency landing here because of the weather. The airport's not really prepared for it. They're not a big airline, but it's, they're somewhat prepared, but not entirely prepared. But while they're getting all those people in, a second small plane comes in with a pilot. And as soon as the pilot lands, he starts kind of going a little weird and kind of eventually starts turning into this thing. And it's been going around picking off people left and right. So this is supposedly a 4 or 5 issue miniseries here. But this has just been playing out like a movie. So this would be the part of the movie where the body count starts getting real high because someone gets an idea like, oh, hey, we're going to gang up on this thing and take it out. So, yeah, this is the high. There's been lots of people getting offed by this thing throughout the first couple issues, but this has been my favorite issue of the series so far. So anybody who loves their big monster horror movies, this would be your favorite part of the book right now because of that. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this series so far. So, highly recommend picking that one up. A couple of debuts this week here. Let's see, one from Boom here. Of course, again, I've been loving Boom stuff. And the other one from Ablaze. So, we'll start with Boom here since we talked about Approach first. This is Mosley coming out from Rob Gilroy and Sam Lofty. This is a really cool series. Really enjoyed this. Best way to kind of sum this up so far from what we've seen in the first issue, Black Paul Bunyan, who's mad at technology. And then the intervention of the gods show up and we get ourselves a big hammer. So pretty cool setup so far. Love the artwork in this here. Really cool and really good stuff here. So, but yeah, just thoroughly enjoy kind of where we leave ourselves in the by the end of this first issue here. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoy this. So, Tommy at Caldwell Comics recommended it to me and said it was right up my alley, and yeah, he was dead on about that. So, another one that everybody at Clobberin loves this week here is Children of the Black Sun. And this can only be described as kind of like a different take on Village of the Damned, where we've got a mystery black sun that rises one day. Everybody freaks out. And there's some children who are born under this black sun, and they kind of look like they're pale, red eyes, white hair, kind of albino sort of look there. And then the black sun rises again a few years later. More freakouts, more death and mayhem and chaos and destruction. More children are born. So now we've got 2 generations born under the black sun. And apparently the older generation has figured out what their special abilities are, what makes them unique, and apparently are now instructing the younger generation about this. So we've got basically like 2 kids, from the earlier generation and 2 kids from the new generation who quite aren't sure what their place in the world is, what their whole thing is about it. But definitely has a nice, creepy, atmospheric sort of look to it. Let me show off the art. Good Lord, dropping books here. Let me show off the art in this one here. So, yeah. Just some nice kind of just weird looking stuff. So, yeah, really enjoy this. So, again, this one kind of had a little buzz to it before it was released. So I was, like, all right, let's check this out. Let's give it a look-see. So I'm very excited about where that book is going. So, yeah, so you may hear some more about that on the show here. Anywho, we are going to take a short break from acknowledge some of our sponsors here, but we'll be right back, and we're going to peel back Glass Onion. So stay tuned.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
The Multiverse Fundraiser is a virtual fandom jamboree and a charity fundraiser all rolled into one package. We're not just raising funds for a good cause, we're raising fun. Our 2023 event will be supporting the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, which exists to spread awareness of aortic health and prevent unnecessary suffering through genetic research, widespread education, and radical advocacy. Our fundraiser combines celebrity panels, fandom-based panels, indie creators, and all of the fun of a virtual con for free. There's a little something for everyone while we support a cause close to our heart. Join us on January 20th through 22nd, along with celebrity guests Amy Yazbek, Jason Bear, Chris Gaucher, Victor Garber, William Catt, Cress Williams, Beth Broderick, Armin Shimmerman, Guy Gilchrist, Carrie Schaefer, Brian Hull, Amy Carrero, Jennifer Cody, and Joyce DeWitt.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, and good to see you on the Keisha. I just saw your comments up here, so good to see you, my dear. So yeah, just to let you guys know, Multiverse Fundraiser is coming up very soon, January 20th through the 22nd. On January 20th, that's the Friday of it, Fanatic Forum will be coming to you at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so a couple hours earlier, but that's for good reason because we got all these other different panels and stuff coming up with all their exciting guests. I'm looking forward to being not necessarily moderating, but I'm kind of doing working the buttons behind the scenes on the Cress Williams and William Catt interviews. So looking very forward to that. So yeah, looking good. Gonna be good stuff here. Yeah, so very exciting, and of course, always for a good cause for the John Ritter Aortic Health Foundation. So yeah. Hopefully everybody can, of course, you can make different donations. And when you do, there's different levels and you get like different things, or you're putting drawings for different prizes and whatnot, or there'll be different prizes auctioned off as well. So yeah, lots of cool memorabilia, some signed stuff, I believe. So yeah, just lots of neat stuff. And of course, you're helping a good cause and it's all geek fun and you don't have to leave your house. That's the best part. You're right here the whole time. You don't even have to wear clothes, if you don't want to. So you just watch on there, you bid on things, you donate. Yeah, all good things here. So, all right. This week we are talking about a little popular movie on Netflix this week, Glass Onion, a Knives Out sequel or mystery. Absolutely enjoyed this here from director Ryan Johnson. And just, yeah. A great ensemble cast, a fun Agatha Christie-esque mystery. So we will definitely break down, talk about that. So yeah, I've really, I really enjoyed the first Knives Out. I can kind of see Ryan Johnson's been kind of coming out in the press saying like he really didn't want them to snap on the Knives Out brand on the the movie, saying let's leave them independently, sort of whatever else. So I can definitely see the merit in that, but of course, I'm sure the studio is more along the lines of like, let's brand this thing so people know what they're watching. I can see both sides of the arguments here, but nonetheless, they are standalone mysteries. So the nice thing is, as long as you know that Daniel Craig's character is Benoit Blanc, he's the world's greatest detective. That's all you need to know. So that's kind of the fun thing about it. Everybody can kind of jump in, fresh on this one here, because of course the first film had a great ensemble cast, but the cast doesn't necessarily repeat. So just Benoit himself. We get a lot of fun celebrity cameos in here. Hugh Grant, who maybe I guess is Benoit's either boyfriend or just flatmate. I'm not sure what. But then we get Stephen Sondheim, makes an appearance, and we get like this nice little foursome when they're I forget what the game is. They're playing in the bathtub. But basically, you've got him doing a Zoom meeting while he's sitting in the bathtub playing this video game with Stephen Sondheim, Angela Lansbury, Natasha Lyonne, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Just what a combination of people. That's just absolutely fantastic. And initially I was like, well, why is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar here? I had no idea. And then I was informed recently that Kareem has, since his basketball career has ended, has gotten to be quite a mystery writer and actually wrote several episodes of the Veronica Mars series. I was this many years old when I found out about this. So I was really surprised by that. So there you go. Mystery solved on that one. Of course, everybody else sort of makes sense in some way, shape, or form. Of course, Angela Lansbury needs no introduction. Stephen Sondheim, maybe Benoit's a Show Tunes fan, or Sondheim's done some absolutely classic stuff. Written some great music and musicals. Maybe there's that. Natasha Lyonne makes more sense recently because she's got a couple of different. She's done kind of some mystery stuff before, but she's got a new detective series. I think it's on Peacock or coming out later on streaming. So she's been kind of getting into detective stuff as well. So that all makes sense too. And of course, a little bit fast forward, we get to meet Kate Hudson's character, Birdie J, having this big fancy party at her place when, of course, everything's supposed to be in quarantine because it's 2020 and everybody's wearing masks, sort of thing like that. And hey, Yo-Yo Ma's there hanging out, offering some help with a little puzzle box. So, yeah, so just those fun little celebrity cameos on there. And maybe there's also a few we didn't know about. If you've, of course, seen the film, when we get to the Greek island that Miles owns, there's this hourly dong that keeps happening. I guess to, of course, kind of like a chime sort of thing like that, or, bells of a church, whatever else. But he has this composed by Philip Glass. Okay. What you may not have known is the voice of the dong is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There you go. So that was a fun little tidbit there. I found that out. Of course, Ryan and Joseph has previously worked together on Ryan's first film, Brick, which if anyone's not seen Brick, I highly recommend you all checking this out. Another great mystery, kind of giving us an early precursor, really where Ryan's possibly his heart is when it comes to filmmaking and doing movies, are these little, very unique mysteries. And give you kind of a low down on Brick. It is kind of a murder mystery, missing persons sort of mysteries type of film, but it is basically kind of a film noir, very classic kind of Dashiell Hammett sort of feel to the mystery, to the language spoken by the people, the slang that's used, everything like that, except it takes place in a modern day Southern California high school. All the principals are high school age kids. The villain's kind of a high school age kid, maybe a little, excuse me, a little older maybe, but nonetheless. But yeah, just a very unique sort of layout with also this kind of just classic 40s noir motif laid on top of it. But very stylistic film, but wonderful to check out. So highly recommend checking that out if you like the Knives Out movies here. So but back to Glass Onion here. So really enjoy kind of the intricacy of, first we get, all our principals gathered together, our disruptors as they're called, get them all to the island, and then we're like, oh, here's the murder mystery that's going to happen here. But, in just a hilarious scene, Benoit just busts the whole mystery out. It's like, oh, it's, it was Birdie and she's going to use the crossbow and it's because of the diamond and it's all over. So, and Edward Norton's character is absolutely defeated, and so, we're kind of left this like, okay, what else is going to go on? And of course, we get to the party, and Dave Bautista's character of Duke, basically starts choking, and you end up finding out that it was the allergic reaction. Take two, an allergic reaction to pineapple juice that was put in his drink. So, of course, I'm jumping ahead a little bit there, of course, but so you get kind of this more intricate mystery here. And then, of course, you get the mystery of Andy and Helen, basically both essentially played by Janelle Monáe, which, can we take a moment? We have, some really good performances throughout the film. Of course, Daniel Craig kills it again, but Janelle Monáe definitely steals the show. I mean, she was just pulling a bit of double duty here, by the way, playing essentially the sister, the first sister, Andy, and then playing Helen, who's kind of much different than Andy, but then now Helen has to play Andy. So one, again, layering on top of the other here. If we see a pattern going on. It's just, again, just thoroughly enjoyed that. But we, of course, get to the much larger mystery of essentially what Miles has been up to, and the way, of course, we get to the end of the film where, Benoit breaks that down, and just the whole genius of it. And then, of course, busting in on all these like stupid made up words that Miles keeps using throughout the film when we meet, once we get to the island and meet him here, which is, they sound big and fancy, but it's all just BS. That's just absolutely my favorite part of the film here. So, but just, again, just thoroughly enjoyed it. Of course, we get this wonderful, great, list of stars, Catherine Hahn coming in here, Leslie Odom Jr., of course, like I said, Batista, Kate Hudson, thoroughly, but Jessica, oh gosh, can't think right. Jessica Henwick coming in as Birdie's assistant. Great performance from her too. So she's had herself a good year with Prey earlier in the year. So some very good stuff here. A lot of good future with that young lady. So so again, just the photography, everything, really just, again, I just can't say enough good things about Glass Onion here. I'm very curious, though, if anyone else, what your thoughts on this are, any sort of, input, whether even you didn't like the film whatsoever. So far, anyone I've spoken to has spoken highly of it. So that's, that's a good thing there. And of course, what I've, recently read is that Rian Johnson has contracted with Netflix to do 2 more sequels to this. I like the kind of naming convention. Of course, bringing in, Knives Out's a Radiohead song, Glass Onion, it's Beatles, that needs no introduction as well. So I'm curious what the next titles are going to be here, what it all has to do with the film itself, and many other metaphors and everything. But again, I don't want to dig too terribly much into it in case you all haven't seen this here. But it's just a wonderfully layered classic mystery here. Definitely lots of nods to Agatha Christie and her style of ensemble mysteries, lots of layers, a master detective foiling all the things here. So thoroughly enjoy this. Definitely go watch this if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen it once already, watch it again. So all those views and clicks are good for it, and for the future of other movies again. So there you are. All right. So I think that about wraps things up so far here. So again, highly recommend checking this out. Go watch Brick, Ryan's first film, if you haven't seen that one. And lots of other good stuff has popped up on streaming that, previously, if was in theaters earlier or later in the year. So The Invitation's now streaming, The Menu. So if you're, again, horror fans here. So The Invitation's, assume it from what I saw in the trailer, a vampire hunter or vampire film. And The Menu is, a lot of upper crust people going to a fancy exclusive dinner, and maybe they are on the menu. So I don't know. I've heard some good things. Heard it's very clever. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out too. So, of course, I want to know what you guys are looking forward to, what you all are watching and, checking out or wherever else. So let me know. I will see you guys next time on the Fanatic Forum. You all have yourselves a wonderful week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.